All right, so we're going to take a look at slope and rate of change again, since our class together didn't go so well and I think things were confusing. So I'm hoping that this will fix it. So this is a table from Manisha's workout before. We looked at this a while ago. I can't remember which section it was, but we looked at this before. And if I have a table like this, I can find the rate of change by looking for the change in my output. So if I take a look at these two values, then I can take my 222.6 minus 218.8, 8, and that is 3.8. And then I know, so this top one is my change in Y, or change in output, right? Sometimes you'll see math people write delta Y, that means the change in Y. So that's our change in output, and then our change in input is 2 minus 1, which is 1. And then for our rate of change, I would have 3.8 over 1, right? And then I could pick some other set of points. I could do, let's say, we'll do 329 and the 386. So if I take a look at those two, then I would have my change in output is 386 minus 329. And then I'm going to put that over my change in input, which is 45 minus 30. And that is going to be 57 over 15, which equals 3.8. So either way, I get the same rate of change, and that is 3.8 calories per minute, because my numerator, the units for that are calories, and the denominator, the units for that are minutes. So that's one look at it. When we look at it on a graph, this is a graph of the same situation as before. You can see the 20 and then 291, which was in this table as well. So I just graphed it and put some points on there. And I want to show that we can do the same thing here. I could pick any of these points. So here I'll take my 20 minutes, 291 calories, and 10 minutes, 253 calories. And we're going to subtract our output. So we do 291. We're looking for the change in output, 253. So we'll have 8 over there. And then, so we get 38. And that would be, let's see, about that. That is the length of that. So we get a change in 38 calories between these 2 points. And then our input would be 20 minus 10, which is 10 minutes. And so that is from here to here. And you can see that slope triangle that we mentioned before. Here is our slope triangle. 38 is this vertical change, and 10 is my horizontal change. Okay? And then when I put those together, we get 38 over 10, which is the same as 3.8. So 3.8, calories per minute, or per 1 minute. That is my rate of change. That is also the slope of this line. It is the steepness of the line. Okay. And we can take a look at this with another situation with Sam here and his workout. And basically, we do the same thing. So, and it tells me that his swim is 77.8 calories per minute. So I'm going to expect when I look for my rate of change here that I will end up with 7.8 calories per minute. So if I take 2 points, let's look at these ones this time. So again, I'm looking for my change in my output. It's the change in my Y values. Okay, in this case, it's the change in the calories burned. We get 195 calories. And then we're going to take our change in input, which is the minutes. And then I would divide those. Oops, and I must have done something wrong. Okay, and I realized my mistake here, so we'll just fix this. So this should have been 25 minutes. Oops. To get my 7.8 calories per minute. And one of the things that I'm going to start pointing out here, this is kind of what I tried to do at the end of class, is that I could think of these as sort of generic points as well. So I could think of this as an X and Y. Oops. Oh, I could just change it. X and Y points. So this could be X1, Y1. And then this one could be X2, Y2. And basically what we're saying here is that I've got any 2 points that I have, I can subtract my Y values. That gives me my change in output or my change in Y. And then I can put that over my change in X values. Okay, so that was sort of this generic thing that we were getting to. And I'll do another example. But so here, let's we'll make this one be our X1, Y1. And this can be our X2, Y2. So let's label those. And so when we have this X1, X sub 1, and Y sub 1, that just means the X and Y values from 1 point. And then when we have X sub 2 and Y sub 2, that means the X and Y values from a second point. It's just the way that we show it in math. So here, I can either do Y2. I can start with my second point and then subtract the first. Or I could start with my first and subtract my second. Okay, so let's go back up here. If I'm starting with, I'm going to do this top part here. I can, if I'm, according to what I wrote up here, I would take 394 because that's the Y value of my second point. And then I'm going to subtract the Y value of my first point. Oops. Over the X value of my second point minus the X value of my first point. So I'm at 394 minus 433. Nope, 394. Okay, and so this would be my slope, and that is equal to 7.8. Okay, so that's one way to find it. Or I could have started with my first point. So I've got the y value of my first one and the x value of my first one. And then I will subtract the y value of my second point and the x value of my second point. And here when I subtract, I get the same values, right? But they're both positive. And so I end up with 7.8 again. So it's either way. So all I'm doing is saying, basically, that either one of these ways, I can find the slope of a line by doing this. I can subtract two y values over the corresponding x values, and that will give me my slope. So here, if I was to make a table, right, so my input will be my x, my output is my y. And if I pick a few values, let's go with 0 here. When I substitute 0 in for x, I'm going to have 7 minus 3 times 0, which will be 0, so I get 7. If I put 1, then I'm going to do 7 minus 3 times 1, which is 7 minus 3, which is 4. Maybe I'll do negative 1. And then I can just change this to a negative, which makes this a positive. And then I would have 10. Okay. And I can, again, right, I can pick my two, I'm going to pick 2 points. So we can do this set of points and this set of points. And we'll make this one our first point and this one our second point. All right, so I'm going to take, just because I have the purple that I picked, I'm going to start with that one. So I've got the y value from the purple point on and the first spot on top, and then the x value will be also in the first spot, but on the bottom, right? And then now I'm going to switch to my second point and looking for the differences between them. So 4 minus 0, and, sorry, that shouldn't be 4 minus 0. That should be 4 minus 7. Sorry about that. And then I should have 1 minus 0. Right? So this was my y1, and this was my x1. This is my y2, and this was my x2. And they're being subtracted. And so when I subtract them, I get negative 3 over 1. So my rate of change, or my slope, is negative 3 here. And then when I look at the graph of this same thing, right, I can make that slope triangle that we talked about, where this is negative 3, and this one's 1. And there I can see my slope, right? I'm going to have negative 3 over 1. I could also look at it from these points. And the way I drew this would be 2, and this would be going down 6, so negative 6. And then I'd have negative 6 over 2, which equals negative 3. And let's look at one more slope triangle here. And I'm going to go, I'm actually going to start here. I'm going to draw it like this so we can see it like that. And then go up this way. So when I go left, I would have negative 3. And then when I go up, I would have positive 9. And so I would take my vertical change divided by my horizontal change to get my slope or my rate of change, which is negative 3. So I hope that clarifies things a bit, and you're going to work on some problems to practice this.